Sit back on something. So you're a little elevated. Cross your shins, flex the feet. Place the hands on your thighs, press down, lift your spine up. Drop the shoulders as you exhale. Press down again through the thighs, through the hands, lift up. Squeeze the back ribs towards each other. The front ribs forward, the side ribs forward, the front ribs up. Chin up, let your eyes close. So I like to start this class these days with the exact same instructions about how to sit. Not because I don't think any single one of you once taught would not remember it or wouldn't do it if I asked you just to sit in the starting position. I do it as a remembrance that by repeating something over and over and never letting the ego or the intellect say that this, I've already learned all there is to learn from it. I do not need to do it again. It's a constant reminder. It's kind of an acknowledgement to the one piece that I think was incredibly important for me in my practice, is that mastery of a pose or a posture or position or a principle of any of this isn't because it looks pretty, isn't because it becomes easy, or that you could even teach it to others. Mastery of this is the constant application of it on our lives, so we learn something from it. Not that it becomes bland and boring and we throw it away, but that we let ourselves be humbled by the complexity of ourselves and the power of each position, whether seated the way you are now, or forward folds or backward bends or simple twists or footwork or whatever. That each time we do it, the complexity of ourselves gives us something new to learn about the pose, about ourselves, and the life we live, and so forth. There was a phrase that I started with when all my journey in yoga began. I used to say often when I walked into another teacher's class, I know nothing, so therefore I have everything to learn. When we sit with the shins crossed, the feet flexed, the knees under the foot, the ribs moved and open, the head up, the eyes closed, we're not just saying, and I'm not just offering, but you don't know what's happening here. I'm offering that. There's so much to learn. Not just you from your time in this pose, but that I also learn from each and every one of you. This is a moment of acknowledgement of that lesson. That as your teacher, I have everything to learn from you. Just as you learn from your own body, your yoga practice, what that comes from, and how it evolves. So, my friends, as we go through the practice tonight, whether it's poses you've done once or 1,000 times before, poses you think you've mastered, or parts of your body that you think are perfectly fine, let tonight for the next hour be an opportunity to know nothing, so you have everything to learn. Because in the full karmic cycle of it all, even online, I learned from being here with you. And thus the students become the teacher and the teacher the student, and the cycle continues ever on. That one does not give to the other, that ultimately we create together. Bring the palms together at your chest, thumbs touching your sternum, fingers spread slightly away from each other. Blow them shortly 3 times to begin. Take a breath. Om. Chin up. Om. Flex your feet. Om. Bow your head. Salute the essence of yoga inside yourself. Bring your hands into your lap. Let your head rise and your eyes open. Cool. Some more people snuck in. It's really great. Glad you all made it. Oh, what to do on a Thursday evening. So many options. All right. Let's work a little bit of our balance, I think. So come to a standing position. If you have balance that you would label as poor, get out of that habit. If you have balance that you would label as poor, maybe having a chair or something nearby that you could put your hand on for balance would be a good thing to do. Tristan's going to get a chair for herself, it looks like. Just falling into the closet doors wouldn't be great. No. So once you have whatever prop you need, or you're near a wall or chairs or desks or whatever, bring your feet together in Tadasana. Thighs together, feet touching. Okay. Squeeze the thighs in, calf in. Lift all 10 toes up off the floor so you already start to change your balance. Remember, balance isn't just about the trickery and the carnival nature of being on one leg or on your head or on some combination of body part that is precarious. Balance is about recognizing what is engaging to your body and what is not engaging too. Balance is also applied to the muscles that are working. When you lift your toes, different muscles in your leg redistribute and balance your body. All right? So even here, balance yourself by squeezing each leg close to each other equally, or whatever you feel equally is. Flex the buttock muscles, not to push the hips forward, but to squeeze the glutes tight to each other, the hips tight to each other, so that even for a moment, if your balance is what you would consider bad, like this makes you fall over, this is a narrowing balance pose. The thing that will ultimately make it so you can lift one more leg than the other is not just the training of the muscles, but the focus of, can you learn to keep the action in your body stable so that balance can be no matter what part of it. And that comes from 2 parts. Go ahead, stretch both arms up, squeeze your palms together so you can be working your upper back and arms. Straighten your elbows while I'm sitting here pontificating again. The 2 parts are the engagement and the release of the body. All of us already, coming here, I think it's fair to say, know that we have some things in our life that are creating imbalance in our body in some way, whether it's an imbalance physically, mentally, or emotionally. We're all here for something. You may be the super athletic type and you're here for flexibility to balance out your strength. You may be hypermobile like me and you're here for the strength to balance it out. Or in this current stage of my life right now, balancing all of the other thoughts in the world of my life with the philosophy. So there's the strength that you're pushing and the force you're trying to apply to your body, and then there's the letting it go. So as you kind of work in the pose, in these poses tonight, the idea of balance is not just I can force myself to stay on one foot, nor is it I can totally let go and I just float. You got to work between the two. What muscles do I need to keep engaged? What do I need to let go of? What mental thinking do I need to engage? What do I need to let go of? Same for mental, and the cycle ever continues. Straighten your elbows, squeeze the palms tight. Do not interlace your fingers. Just squeeze the palms tight together. Pick up your right knee in front of your hip, the height of your hip. And then what happened to your left leg? Is it still working in the way Tadasana offers you in that point of balance? Are you still flexing the same muscles? Are you relaxing the muscles that if you overgrip, let you fall? You're going to learn a lot of that by trial and error. And then even though you're working that left leg long, pushing down through the foot, can you keep your left toes off the floor? That's a little tougher one. Good. Bring your right foot down. Keep your arms up. Squeeze the palms together. Pick your left leg up in front of you, knee the height of your head. What's the difference one leg to the other? In almost all the teachings about Ayurvedic or any of that work, it always talks about the body being two different halves, the masculine, feminine, the sun, the moon, the soft, the hard. What's the difference between the right and left side of your body? What is it you need to engage or need to let go of? Do you need to let go of the idea that it's easy on your right leg, that you don't need to focus it hard? Or that you need to focus harder on your right leg because it doesn't want to work? What is the thing that you have that you let go of so you make room for what you need? Thus, yoga becomes a living practice, not just in the moments of your physical action, but your mental, emotional, way past the yoga mat. Bring the leg down. Keep the arms up if you can. Elbows straight, palms flat. Pick your right knee up in front of you again. Take your right ankle above your left, on your left thigh, above the knee, and rotate. No, not into the inside. Ankle on the thigh. Rotate the knee open. So a modified Vrksasana, tree pose. Your hands sweating. Will that make them fall? Now see that this is way more of an asymmetrical pose. What do you have to engage? What can you let go of that's not helping you? Does engaging your thigh work? Does gripping in your neck help? Right? Remember that the practice is just that. It is a practice, not a perfection. Bring your right leg down. Keep your arms up if you can. Challenge yourselves. Straighten the elbows. Squeeze the palms tight. Do not cross your fingers. Pick your left knee up in front of you. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Now the chair is there for balance if you need. If you got to bring an arm down for balance, go for it. Breathe. Push those palms tight. Get those shoulders working. Good. Bring the left leg down. Bring the arms down for a moment. Turn your right. So now, thighs together, feet together in Tadasana. We're going to change the pose a little bit. Stretch both arms straight up, palms facing in, squeezing the palms tight together. Same action. But now, after you create the extension of your body, create the balance, get each leg working, get each hip working, get your side ribs working, get your arms working, get your front and back muscles working to lift you. And then when you've got all of that working, then move into the next pose. So the next pose, from Urdhva. Slide your left foot back behind you about a foot or so, turning the top of the foot flat to the floor. So the toenails press into the floor and the leg, shin to top of the foot is flat. And you push that foot down as if I came by and pushed on your heel, trying to stretch your toes and the top of your foot even deeper. So slide your left leg back about a foot, push down through the foot, stretch through the leg, stretch through the hamstring to the heel, the thigh to the heel, and try not to let your ribs or abdomen hang forward too hard. Lift up taller. Stretch the arms up taller. And then if this is easy, slide your foot back a little farther. As you can see, Tristan's not doing that. She's already probably in a foot cramp. Or she will be. Straighten your elbow. Hold the pose. Chest up, heart up, legs long. Feel the flex of your left thigh. Flex your left hamstring. And without bending your left knee, lift the left leg up so the toes float off the floor an inch. So you're in a modified Nordharaja. Even if your hands have to come to the balance, stretch through that leg, work the leg in that same pelvic action. So now you engage the back, front side of the leg, the pelvis. You engage more of your body into this action. You now learn balance is not a left to right, but a front to back. And notice how much your low back tries to do it. Everyone keep your left leg where it is, lower the toes back to the floor and work the leg again. See how much shifted in your back as that went. Take a breath, work your arms, strong left leg, push through those toes. So now you feel the flex of the right leg, the flex of the left leg. Lift the toes up again. Stretch the leg back. Don't lift your butt to your low back. Stretch the leg away from the hip. All right. Left leg down, feet on the floor, arms down for a second. Re-engage Tadasana, left to right side of the body, even though your arms are relaxing or taking a respite. Doesn't mean the rest of you does. Take both arms straight up, palms facing in, palms tight together. Slide your right foot back about a foot, taking the top of the foot flat to the floor. Top of the toenails press into the floor so the leg is long. Are both legs still active like Tadasana? Can you straighten your elbows, lift your chest, heart, head up like Tadasana? Then exhale, lift your right foot up just an inch off the floor without picking up your butt to your back, but stretch your leg longer. Both legs longer, even your left leg. It's not just something you hang out on. Push through that foot like you did earlier. Bring the right toes down. Don't come out of the pose, but just keep the right leg straight. Press those toenails into the floor. Slide the foot back a little farther if you want a little more challenge. And then lift your body up, work the left leg, right leg, and then lift that right foot to float. Good. Bring the leg down, bring the arms down. Do-si-do. Good job. Ready for the fun part? So, not Padmasana, Padangusthasana. It's a very classic pose. It's the pose where you see where people are standing on one leg and they're holding their foot out in front of them or out to the side. it's a challenging balance pose, but it's one that we can all do. And remember that yoga's not there just to be a zero-sum game. So I would like for you to have something to balance on it regardless, because we're going to go through a cycle of things for a little bit here. So Tristan's going to put the chair on near her right hand. So if you'll watch Tristan for just a moment, I'm going to have her go through what this is and a couple things about it that I want you to particularly pay attention to. She's going to suffer so you get to rest, right? You all realize that when we're not all in the classroom together, I can't pick someone randomly. It just gets to be this poor woman around me all day. So you should all send her good wishes, if not like Starbucks gift cards. Don't do that. All right. So Tristan's going to start the Padagonstasana cycle because it's 3 actions that I want us to work on. She's going to pick her left knee up in front of her so her right hand can stay on the chair the whole time. She's going to take her left hand to the inside of her foot and grab her big toe. If you cannot grab your big toe like this, and I want your arm on the inside of your leg so your knee can squeeze your elbow. This is to keep it from being a hip opening. This is about the knee picking up and the arm being active. One of the things that makes this pose challenging is if we try to make our shoulder do it. Our shoulder should stay back in the socket as hard as possible. She's going to then push the foot against the hand so the leg lifts. I don't care if your leg goes straight. Do the best you can. Use the other hand for balance. Start to extend. I will say a couple key things. So I'm just going to tell you now. 1, you do not just be passive in your lifted ankle. Push that foot against that arm. Pull the arm back against the foot. That's what creates the lift. 2, the standing leg must stay active as in Tadasana the whole time. As you can see, the back of her leg is pushing forward to the thigh. Tristan must grab her thigh in her own brain, the muscle, and pull it back to the hamstring. This is going to be hard for a lot of us, but this is also where a lot of this will affect the hip back and all this other jazz. That's position 1. Position 2, she keeps the hips even, and then she swings the leg, she bends the knee, opens her left knee out to the left, tries not to twist her hip, so her left buttock still sucks forward, and then pushes the foot out against the arm. So it's the lateral extension. Great, same action. The foot pushes into that hand. That foot is trying to flex away from the ankle to work the hip, and then again, the right thigh pulls back. Lastly, bend the knee. Pull it back in front. This is where it gets silly. She has to move her elbow to the outside of the knee. Yeah, and grab the big toe. Got to hold on there. Try to keep her chest up and then take her foot back behind her. She popped her toe, I think. You have a toe pop? It is very hard. She has an injured index finger, so it's a little harder. So the foot comes back. I do not want us to go to Naharaja yet, though. We are headed similar, but I want you to squeeze the knees together. And I want you to pull the heel towards your glute and try to lift and stretch from your thigh to your abdomen up. It's about spreading out the middle pelvis or the front of the pelvis on this. So the glutes have to flex forward. You can hold there. The glutes have to flex forward, and you're trying to separate the belly away from the thighs from bringing the back body forward. Does that make sense? Probably not, but you'll learn. That's the cycle, and we're going to go through it a few times on each side. We're going to really lubricate that hip and challenge the standing legs. Oh, I see everyone's all at Twitter. Like, I'm glad we don't have like the like button on this. It'd just be all thumbs down or angry face all the time. There's a reason yoga classes aren't interactive like social media. All right, here we go. Right hand holds the support, whatever the support is you're going to use, because this is going to be about endurance, building habit, not just falling in and out. All right. Giving up the idea of perfect is a challenging one. Lift your left knee up in front of you. Left hand grabs the left big toe. Arm on the inside of the knee, right? Yeah, look at all of those arms on the inside of the knee. And it's okay to use a strap if you can't grab a hold of the foot in an okay way. Like, it's totally strap worthy. I use it all the time. So even here, pre-work this pose. Squeeze your knee towards your arm. So your inner left thigh, left knee really tries to pinch into the left arm. Pull the left shoulder back like you're trying to move the humerus bone into the socket deeper. So that sets your upper back. Work your right leg. Think about the front muscle of the leg pushing to the back muscle of the leg. So the front of your pelvis moves to the back of your pelvis on the right side. It helps keep you from twisting. Then push your foot against your hand to start lengthening the leg out while still squeezing the knee in. Don't let your chest come down. Pull your shoulder back. The shoulder must stay set in the socket. That is how you keep your chest lifted. So push the foot against the hand, pull the arm back into the socket, and hold for a second. Even if the leg's not straight, I'm not super worried about straight. I just don't want to see a twisted pelvis and body. It is more important in this pose to have a balanced pelvis with one leg bent than a straight leg and be totally torqued. If you look like this, where you got a leg and your chest is all twisted up, all of that has to come back. Much better. She grabbed the strap. Look at her taking care of herself. So taking care of herself. I'm the teacher. You didn't pay me. You don't get to argue. Keep the right leg active. Bend the left knee a little. Take your left knee out to the left side of the body. Try not to twist your hip. Really swing that open that thigh and groin. And then same action. Point your left foot. Extend the leg out. Don't let your chest lean forward. Pick it all up. Pick everything back up. I've never said that the leg had to be straight in any of this. You just start to engage it to be straight. Finding balance is paying attention to what happens to you along your trip so you can make sure you create good work in your body from then out. Right? I always call what I teach yoga classes, yoga doings. Class means you take time to practice and learn. A few more seconds. Strong right leg. Pull your left shoulder to your right shoulder, Forrest. So lean to your upper body to the right. There you go, bud. And then suck your right hip under you more. Woo! There you go. That's the hip cramp of enlightenment. All right, left leg down. Bend the knee. Take the foot back behind you. Try not to fall out of the post. Just move the knee to the outside of the arm to the outside of the knee and then pull the leg and hip back. We're going to do all three. We want to get to the point where you can do all three in succession because this really is about that endurance and movement. Because if you can be balanced when you're moving, you're more likely to be safe, strong, and stable in anything you do. Flex the thighs, squeeze them tight. Pull the heel close to your buttock. Get that quad knee really woken up. And then push your foot against your hand a little bit, like it was trying to move away from your buttock. So it moves your shoulder open, and then lift your abdomen up. Bring your buttock forward. And then just breathe. Flex your left thigh enough to push the foot against the hand. All right, leg down. Good, so that's one side. Let's do the other side, and then we'll come back to the right. I think at this point, if we had to do the right side again, everybody would have internet problems. You can't see the quotation marks, internet problems. Everybody would have the worst service ever all of a sudden. Especially her. Her internet problem would be hitting me with the chair wrestling style. Pick your left knee up in front of you. I'm sorry, right knee, I apologize, right knee, oops. Right knee up in front, right arm reaches to the inside of the leg, grabs your right big toe. Work your left leg, move that left thigh back, engage all of your body to be in the normal lift like Tadasana. So notice how Tristan's right hip likes to really stick up high. She's got to pull her right hip down a little bit. And this is, if one hip tilts up higher than the other, this is an asymmetrical pose alignment, but you still try to keep that work. Squeeze the right knee into the right elbow. Keep that internal action. Push the foot against the hand. Pull the right shoulder back into the socket and stretch the leg out. Doesn't have to be straight, has to be active. The foot does not stay pulled back to the knee. Stretch your toes away from your knee. Your shoulder doesn't go towards your chest. Your shoulder pulls away from your chest. Better, much better. The more you pull your shoulder away from your chest, the more your right hip will come down. And you hold. And you contemplate, why do I let a guy yell at me a couple hours every week? I don't know. Whenever any of my yoga students try to argue with me, they don't get to unless they pay. So you all got to figure out your own Venmo account. Bend your right knee. Move the right knee out to the right so it opens up the hip and groin. Don't twist your hips. Really flex that right thigh. Push the arm against the inner knee to help rotate it open. And then push the foot against the hand to create the extension. It may not go straight. Who cares if it does? Bent's okay, but can you work the legs? Can you work the chest? Can you pull your shoulder towards the opposite side? So you're not leaning towards the bent knee. Because if your chest is leaning one way, that means your hips are leaning the other. Arms get real tired in this. Hands especially get real tired in this. You okay, Caitlin? Thumbs up? Great, good. Grab your foot. Good job, Shuba. Chest up, dear, chest up. Everyone's head should be held high. At least so your neck's reset, if not for other reasons. Bend the right knee. Move the arm to the outside of the knee. Pull the foot back into the variation to Nordnaharaja again. We're going to work like 3 or 4 different variations of that pose today. Strong left legs, strong legs, squeezing in. Flex your left thigh and push your foot against your hand so your shoulder drags away from your chest. And just work this for a moment. Keep your hand on the chair. I know some of you are getting eager to do the balancing part of it. Trust me, about the second or third time when we're trying to do that, you're going to wish you had saved a little bit of energy. There's stuff to learn about using props and being supported that immensely help you mentally, emotionally in the harder versions of poses. All right, take the leg out. Other side, turn around. Thighs together, feet together, Tadasana, please. Take a nice deep breath, pick up your left knee. Left arm comes to the inside of the leg, grabs the foot. Big toe if you can. Always that big toe. If you have a strap, the strap goes around the 5 joints. It's all good. Chest up. Chest into Tadasana as best you can so the shoulders pull back and down. It's not puffing your chest out, right? Push the foot against the hand, extend out. And when you straighten your left leg, don't bend the right knee to make up for it. Especially lengthen the inner right thigh. Remember in past classes, I've been teaching kind of that idea, the language of Mr. Iyengar, of stretch the knee. That doesn't mean lock it. It means stretch the inner knee as long as your outer knee. So that means your inner knee has to work. There you go. Makes it shaky. And then once your right leg's in it, your left leg's in it, your shoulders are in it, take your right hand off the chair for a moment. It's like the training wheels getting taken off a bike. It's scary, it's exhilarating. All right, bend the left knee. Your hand can go on your prop. Open your left knee up out to the side, open the groin, push the foot against the hand or the strap, stretch the leg out. Don't lose the right leg. Stretch that left leg into the post, whatever degree your hamstring takes today. And then make sure, because your left leg's going to the left, your right hip isn't falling to the right. Suck your right hip towards the left. There you go, Forrest. Nice lift, brother. And then float the hand off the chair. Get your leg in place first, Micah, before you start floating your hand up. Get stable and then practice the next step. And even if your hand has to go back to the chair, use it on the chair for a brief second, not to try and force your left leg straighter, but work every other part harder. And then I promise you in time, your left leg will happen and you won't have to force it. But remember, balance is not just about how much you put pressure into the part you think you're supposed to work, like overworking your hamstring. But can you work your hamstring or more of your attention beyond all the other parts? Bend your left knee. Bring the knee in front of you. Left hand goes to the left arm to the outside of the knee. Pull the knee back behind you. Pull the foot back behind you. Push the foot against the hand hard. Like you're trying to pull the heel away from your buttock. The hamstring of your left leg flexes to stretch it. And then float your right hand off the chair. Float your right arm straight up into the air if you can. Lift your right side tall. Right arm down, left foot down. Let's switch sides. A little better. Pick the right knee up. Right hand to the inside of the knee, grabs your big toe. Squeeze the knee into the arm. Work your left leg. Stretch the inner left thigh into the pose. Push the right foot against the hand, create the extension. The arm lifts up. The arm does not go forward. The right arm pulls back. Get that tricep flexing. The more you pull your right arm back and lift your chest up, the more your right hip will go down and you'll get better at this pose. Actively flex the right ankle, not back towards your knee, but to point it away from you. Now float your left hand off the chair for a moment. Try a little bit of balance without the prop. Bend the right knee. Open the right knee up to the side and opening the groin. Push the foot against the hand. Extend. Work the left leg. Work all those other balance points. So it's not about the right leg or leg in the air being straight. Instead, extend it. Work everything else more, like how more you, if you bend the knee and can open your right groin more, do so. Not as much as it was. I'm getting tired. Take your left hand off the prop. Support, float. Work the balance. It's about part way through the second half, we get real tired. This pose gets really into some stuff that see, it's fun. All right. Right leg behind you. There you go. Now you learn the motion of it. Push the foot against the hand so it drags the shoulder open. Flex that right hamstring. Left arm straight up in the air if you can. It's okay to keep the left hand on your prop, but if you can try, even for a moment, start floating up. Trust yourself. Build that space to lift. Be active. And to, even though you might fall, be fearless in your falling. And just once in a while, you might find that you fly. Arm down, leg down. Switch sides. I said we're going to do it about 3 times. So remember, the first time you learn, the second time you experience, third time is where you really start to get mastery of it, or at least in your body, or you really start to define how angry you get at me. Which is all right. I can hold that. All right, left knee up. Let's do it. And if you don't think there's not a surprise, oh, there's going to be a surprise. Strap around your left foot, or left hand grabs the left big toe. You want your hands to be strong, play the grab your big toe game every chance you get. Pull the left knee into the arm, chest up, left shoulder back. Stretch the leg out, whatever degree that is. Let it lift up. Pull your shoulder back. Take the right arm up. You can take the right hand off the chair, good. You can take the right arm straight up into the air, great. Can you stretch through your right arm? The same action as through your right knee. So you're stretching the inner right arm, stretch your inner right leg. There's a second half to this pose that I don't think is often taught or talked about, because it's really a hell thing. Just stay in it for a second. What I would like is for everyone to bend their left knee again. Pick their knee up as high as they can towards their chest. Take both hands and touch your left big toe. Hold your left leg with both hands and stretch both legs, or stretch your left leg out holding both hands. Just try. This one you might fall on because it is hard. But it changes your balance pretty significantly to have to use both hands. So for a few more seconds, even if your knee is super bent, you're just holding on for dear life. You're just like this, chest up, shoulders back, push the foot against the hands. All right, bend the knee, take your left knee to the left. Padagusthasana 2. Open up the hip groin, stretch the left leg out. Use the balance. Use your prop first for balance. Use the prop. No, this is the last time on this side. Push the left foot into the strap. Now for the extra part. Once your left leg's out and your right leg's active, and you're active, take your right hand behind you and try to touch your left hip with your right hand. So your chest opens to the right, your hips open to the left. Good. Even if it's only for a second, you try, it means you're on the journey. All right. Grab the foot, pull the foot behind you, hip near the heel. Now, push the foot against the hand. Move your left knee back behind your right knee 6 inches to a foot. Not out to the side, straight back. Further. Push the foot against the hand harder. So you feel like your body, your pelvis starts to tilt forward. That's correct. Now pick your spine up harder. And now stretch your right arm straight up. Oh, we got some dancers here. I'm liking it. Take a breath. Pull up with your hand, like your shoulder is going to pick up towards the heaven. You'll get that stretch. Good job. Come down. Nice. Other side. Oh, Lord, just to imagine there's a whole other pose after this. Pick your right knee up, right hand to the inside of the leg, right hand grabs right big toe. Stretch the right leg out, stretch your left leg. Left arm floats off the chair for a moment. Work the balance, practice. Even if you fall, don't worry. Most of you are in your house. You can fall all you like. Up is fine. And then for the extra, I know we all love it. Take your left hand and bend your right knee. Left hand grabs the foot also, or at least touches it. Both shoulders pulling back, leg pushing out against both fans for even a moment. Because where this goes, I'll tell you, is that leg goes up. Your hands are wrapped around the sole of the foot and your forehead is on your shin. It is hard as to do. And you're leaning forward. It's so hard. All right, leg down, bend the knee. Open your right knee out to the right. Don't fall out of the pose. Transition to the next. Get that knee bent. Swing the hip open. Push the leg out. Left hand floats. Stretch it up tall first. So you stretch through the left arm like your left leg. And then take your left hand behind you. Try to touch your right hip with your left hand. Swing the knee back. Swing the foot back behind you. Move your right knee back 6 inches to a foot. Push that foot into the hand hard. Your pelvis will tilt forward. That is correct. Pick your spine up taller so you work the back muscle. And then float your left arm straight up. Careful not to let your right knee swing out to the side, but keep it tight to the body and stretch it back. Twist your right ribs to the right. Or to your left wrist. There you go. More. And now work your right quad. Better. That's the pose. That's the pose. Any more you want to push that knee back? Go for it. But you got to keep your spine working. Your pelvis tilts. That's okay. Come on down. Good job. You'll need a chair or like something you can put your knee up on, a block or two. There's a couple different options. So there's lots of different ways to practice the parts of Lord Naharaja. We just really worked a lot of the balance aspects of it. The backward bending and hip part of it is really, I think, one of the more difficult pieces to experiment with, because unless all those other parts are working right, you never really get to feel it. Well, thanks to the miracle of props and magnets. So you can use your couch, chairs, whatever you got in your house that you can put your knee up on. Tristan's just patting this because I know she won't want to have hard metal on her leg. Put it in front of you. So everyone watch Tristan for a moment. Come onto your hands and knees, facing away from the chair. So we're all going to start facing away from whatever prop we're using, chair, couch, a stack of blocks, big pile of books, large dogs, whatever you got in your house. I'm going to ask Tristan to take her left knee up on top of the seat of the chair. Kind of swings it out, gets it up like so. Isn't that nice? So if you look at it, her right leg, her knee is right under her right hip. If that leg was straight, that would be the leg in Lord Naharaja. Her back leg is in the correct positioning for Lord Naharaja also. So now all we have to do is add upper torso, and we've basically got the recipe. She's going to have a block, because this is really hard without it. Here's the practice. She's going to use blocks or whatever she needs to start picking her chest up. So use whatever you got in your house, stools, blocks, again, walls. I'll put, walk my hands up a wall. The more she starts to lift, she has to press down through the right knee harder to help roll the hip open. She has to push the back foot against something. So like if you're using a couch, it's really nice to push your leg against the cushion of the couch. And then she just picks her chest up. Push the knee down, push the foot against. And then she can practice floating one arm up, pick an arm. Ooh, she chose the easy one, that's fine. And then the other one, she switches. Let's see if she can do both. It'll be fun. And then she tries both. She just says no. The other step is this. She would take a hand back, grab the foot. Push, straight arm. Both arms, the arms straight. Push, and then lift. She got it for a second. That's all we're here for, right? All right, get to your position. Let's have some fun. And remember, no one else is being recorded except me and her. No one can hear you. So if you need to swear and fall and laugh and joke or whatever, it's all yours. The only one's looking at the screen is me. And I'll never tell, I think. All right, everyone on your knees. Let's do what we can. Use couches, use chairs, whatever you got. That's supposed to. Your chest rolls away from the opening of the head. So your chest will try to face this way, even though your hip opens up. All right, let's model what Tristan did. Right knee on the floor, left knee up on the chair, couch, whatever. And if the chair is too high, just put one knee up on a block, put it up on a big pot in your house. You don't have to jump to this level. You could build up many heights of it. I'm just saying, this is where we're going to standardly work for today. All right, everyone's in something. Left knee up on the chair, so it's about the height of your hip. If not a little lower, that's okay. Right knee under the right hip. Pick your chest up as high as you can, up on the fingertips, up on another chair, whatever, and just hold that for a minute. Turn your blocks up taller, Barb. Make those back muscles work. Nice, Lena. Pratima, good. Now, hold the pose for a moment. Push your right knee down harder into the floor. So flex that right thigh. Push your right shin bone down hard into the floor to activate the hip and leg. There is going to be a thing about this pose that is going to be contradictory or feel contradictory. Your chest bone should try to continue to face forward. Your left hip will slightly roll up into the air. This is an asymmetrical pose. The pelvis does not stay perfectly balanced during this. That is a fallacy and is damaging to the hip. So the more you work your left chest away from the foot, the better. The more that you push your left thigh down into the chair and your foot against something, the better. Take your right arm straight up in the air. Pick your chest up, pick your heart up. Work those back muscles. Notice how your chest is facing forward. Keep it. Take your right hand down, pick your left arm up. Keep those chest muscles facing forward. Your shoulder is going to open up, but not your whole rib cage. All right, left hand down. Keep your knee on the chair or on your prop. Bend your left knee under its own power as deep as it can and reach your hand back and grab your foot with your left hand. Touch it for a second. Straight elbow. Notice your left ribs have twisted. Pull your left ribs back forward. Even if you just touch it for a second, Glenda. You're doing the right side, that's okay. You're just reversing the order. Push your knee down into the floor. Roll your chest forward as hard as you can. So you have to work deep into the shoulder blade. This is a shoulder opening pose. This is very much a backward bend and a shoulder opener. So as your left shoulder goes back, your left ribs go forward. 3 more seconds. Out you go. Good job. Don't worry, you could take the arm up later. I left it purposefully undone so you could be like, oh, once I'm out of class, I'm going to try it. That rebel part of you that's going to do what the teacher doesn't teach you, right? I know what that is. I love it. Right knee up on the chair. Left knee under your left hip. Once you're really good at this part of this, the standing on the straight leg becomes one of the easiest things in the world. It challenges some different muscles, but your balance is going to be very stable. Chest up, right ribs rolling forward so your chest is more parallel. Push your left knee down. Push your back foot against something. Chest up, just work here. If you just did this version of the backward bend, you would create a lot of suppleness in your hip and back. And I know a lot of you feel a lot here. So you're already in the pose. Congratulations. What was the name of that game show where you could take the prize or go for what's behind door number 2? Make a deal, right? Chest up. Left arm up in the air. Try the best you can. Stretch the arm up, chest up as tall as you can. Nice, Shuba. Good lift. Switch arms. Woo! Working hard. Should have your right arm up in the air. When you're right, you feel your right ribs lift up and twist, roll your right ribs forward. Don't let your back do all the twist. Keep the twist in the hip. There you go. Bend your right knee under its own strength and grab the foot. Touch the foot. Do anything you can to reach back there and get a hold of it. You've got props holding you up and letting you safely experiment. And if you fall, you're only going to fall about the length of your femur bone. And ain't none of you that big, you're going to fall that far and hurt. Not at least, permanently. Now push the foot against the hand like your foot wants to go back to touching the thing it was on. It misses it so much. Feel your shoulder get pulled open, your right ribs pulled back. Pull your right ribs forward so your shoulder blade has to suck into your back muscle. Shoulder goes back, chest comes forward, Katie. Roll your right ribs towards your door. And then let your shoulder go back with your leg. There you go. 4 more seconds, 5 more seconds, I don't know. Push your left knee down, left shin down. Roll your right ribs forward, twist deeper. It's hard. All right. We didn't do it on the other side, but be a little adventurous. Try to hold on to the right foot and take your left arm straight up for a second. Use that leg. There you go, Forrest. You got it, buddy. Nice. Good job, Barb. Nice, Micah. Good balance. Come on out, everybody. Woo! All right. I think everyone's alive. Lena's husband's gone. He probably didn't make it. All right. No, he's fine. He's just off camera hiding. Lay on your backs. Good job, everyone. If you want to put your legs up in your chair, go for it. You want to put your legs up on your couch to give more relief to the hips? Sure. But when in doubt, Savasana is just pretty wonderful. So take the opportunity to get it. Balance is about letting go of the thing you don't need. The thing that's not helping you get to practice what you want. So laying back, my friends, your eyes closed, tongue away from the roof of your mouth, all that good jazz. We have limited time, so I'll keep the thing short. We started the practice with something we've similarly done many times. Not because you didn't know how, not because you weren't good enough students to get ready for it your own, but because if we are true students of the yogic practice, it's more than just being a student in this class. It's being a student to the teaching, that through the process of just living, we are all complex beings. Each of us individually are complex. And that every time we get into the pose, it's a chance to be a student. That is living the practice. That is the living practice of yoga. Not just that you do the pose every day, but that you listen to the pose as if it has everything to teach you, something new in each moment. And once you practice that with a pose, you might find it's easier to practice that in other places in your life, so that you are in the constant state of learning, changing, growing, and that life will never really sneak up on you in the same way and you'll feel left behind. So my friends, with each deep breath in, slow breath out, let yourself also be a student of rest, of renewal, whatever that looks or feels like to you right now in this Savasana or rainbow pose. Take a nice deep breath in, slow breath out. Until I ring the bell, enjoy the fruits of your yogic practice. Slowly increase the depths of your breathing. Begin to awaken the body, opening, closing the hands, pointing, flexing the feet. On an exhale, bend the knees, roll to your right side, press your palms into the floor, and slowly up you come. All right, until we meet again, namaste. All right, pause.